لكن تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This video is very pertinent and important because I get many messages privately, across my social media accounts asking me, Hajji, why is it that you're refuting the Salafis? Like, why are you constantly, going 2 years or 3 years in, consistently focusing on the Salafis, etc.? And very valid questions, and you've got the right to ask me this question. And what I would answer, or how I would answer rather, is that I have no issues with Salafis. Like, I have to get that out there. It's the pseudo Salafis, it's the intolerant Salafis, it's the cultist Salafis that I have a problem with. So let me make something clear. Like, I have a lot of love and respect, and I'm going to say this publicly, and I don't really mind if people, start criticizing me or start saying, oh, well, why are you saying this? I have a lot of love and respect and admiration for Sheikh Abu Osama al-Dhahabi and Sheikh Abdulrahman al-Dimashqi. And I've spoken to them privately. I'm not going to go into what they've said to me, but those two mashayikh I have lots of love and respect for. Do I agree with everything? No. But I've got that much respect, being from the Athari background. They've advised me, and as I said, I take the advice. So it's not all Salafis. I have to make that point clear. And these two mashayikh are, been in the Dawah for years, and it's important that when they advise you, you listen. Does it mean that I agree with everything? No, I don't. But there's a certain amount of courtesy, there's a certain amount of respect that you have to show your elders and mashayikh. So they're Salafis, and coming from an Athari background, I look up to them, and I listen to their talks. So it's the intolerant, overzealous, cultist Salafis that I've got a problem with, which I like to call pseudo Salafis. And what I wanted to show you is that before I entered into the Dawah scene, if that's the right term, they were at the forefront refuting this person, that person, PDFs and the whole shebang. So let me just play a video for you to show you Dawah man, what he mentioned when he was asked about this refutation culture, which they created. It's the Salafis that created this refutation culture.
The Prophet said, if any one of you, anyone, not necessarily a scholar, anyone from amongst you, man ra'a, sees what? Munkaran, someone doing evil, someone doing wrong. The Prophet said, change it straight away. فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ. Change it with your hand. Change it. If you can't do it with your hand, do it with your tongue. If you can't do it with your tongue, hate it in your heart. And that's the weakest of Iman. The point is that what the Prophet said, he said, upon seeing, change it straight away. He didn't say, see it, go to him, advise him, privately, No. If you see it and you're seeing it publicly, you straight away, you advise publicly. You made a mistake, my brother. And this is from the religion. Like, you're getting closer to Allah by this. Do you see?
No. Yeah. So you heard Dawah man. Dawah man said refutation is part of the religion, and you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by refuting. This is many years before I came onto the Dawah scene. So where were all the Salafis when this was happening? Where were you guys when Dawah man was spitting this sectarian venom and refuting even within? And I'm going to show you later that the Salafis eating each other from within, destroying each other from within. No one said nothing about this. Now look, al-Rudud is part of the religion, but they made it a focal issue. They made it, in essence, like fundamentals, like usul. Not saying usul as in creed, but they made it foundational. Refute this person, refute that person. It's part of the religion. And no one had an issue from amongst the Salafi circle when they were doing it. They were very happy. Oh, you got refuted, this many pages refutation, but no one said nothing. No one batted an eyelid. Now, as you can see on screen, you've got all of these Salafis, and again, I'm talking about pseudo Salafis. Like I mentioned, there's honourable Salafis coming from an Athari background, and that's when I mean Athari background, I affirm what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala affirms for himself in terms of Allah's names and attributes. But look at this, like refuted, refutation, rudud, etc., etc. This is way before that bro Hajji came onto the Dawah scene. And They were eating themselves up from within. Now, the Salafi manhaj, and come back to me, the Salafi manhaj and aqidah, I have to say that this is what I subscribe to. And I don't mean the sect, the cult, the pseudo Salafis of today, the one that are following a plastic diluted version. Now, again, I have no issues with the general Salafi manhaj or the general Salafi aqidah, but in certain aspects of it, I feel it's a must and it's necessary to call it out. There is no doubt that the Takfiriyun are the true followers and adherents to the principles of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, from a manhaj methodology perspective. Is there any issue in saying that today's Salafis, and I mean pseudo extremist tolerance, so when I say Salafis, I'm not painting all Salafis with the same brush, by the way. A brother sent me this screenshot here, and it's very, very important, so I want to read this out. He mentions, being neutral in this debate, it's really hard to not see the political institutionalization amongst your camp. You, I don't know who this you is. Sajid, Dawah, Abdulrahman, Hassan. It's almost undeniable. It gets lost in scholarly debate, my evidence versus yours, etc. A high level simple question. Is it reasonable to claim you and your ilk are following a diluted version of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab's methodology? So that's what it is really. That's what I've called out. Leave the Khuruj, debate. That's obviously been done, and it's clear that it's a Masail al-Khilafiyya. And this is one of the, main topics that they, have been fighting for and attacking those who oppose them for a very long time. So, yes, it's fact that you are fighting a diluted plastic version. And it's not unreasonable to make this public, which I've been doing for a while. I've noticed there's a lot of pseudo-Salafi, intolerant Salafi deflection when it comes to the text and the inconsistencies in transmission, and I've highlighted this, and this ain't the video to go into specific examples, but whoever's interested, go watch my channel or go watch the videos from my channel over 2.5-3 years. I've highlighted this, day upon day, week upon week for over 2.5-3 years. So is it not true that they have conceded that to a certain extent they have been distorting for a while to follow this political institutionalization methodology because it's directed by the political winds? Is it not fair to say that they've kind of conceded that? And I've highlighted it, I've called it out, I've made it, apparent. And then they say, Hajji, why don't you, why are you refuting? But then I'm saying over the past, however long before I was involved in the Dawah scene, where was the complaints from the Salafis then? You were lapping it up, you were loving it, you were cheerleading it, you were, voicing your appreciation and your your support, and you had no issue with it. Bro, Hajji comes along and all of a sudden, oh no, why Hajji? You're refuting all day, that's all you're doing, you're making refutation or rudud part of this. Look, I've got, walillah alhamd, the ability to access the sources. I've got the ability to research. As I said, my Arabic isn't the best, and I made that clear, but it's enough to access the sources, read and translate to a certain extent. And when it comes to Arabic mistakes, we find, and don't worry, there'll be a future video coming soon, not from myself, from brothers, highlighting a mascot's blatant Arabic and Quranic blunder. Like I always said, you point one finger, three is pointing back at you. And when you were talking about Arabic mistakes, well, wait for it. I'm not going to mention who. You're in for a almighty surprise. Anyway, now, what do I mean by pseudo-Salafi? Like I say that all the time, right? Pseudo-Salafi, neo-Salafi. What do I mean by that? As you can see you got Merriam-Webster, okay, since 1828, and it's an adjective, pseudo, and it mentions definition of pseudo: being apparently rather than actually as stated, okay, sham, etc. So pseudo means being apparently rather than actually as stated, and that's my point. The pseudo-Salafis are following the political winds. They are politically institutionalized, and the direction of their manhaj is in accordance to a certain kingdom that shifts their policies. So they were anti-Turkey a few years ago. So were the Khaliji rulers. They were anti-Turkey, public about it. And then now there's a political change now that now you'll find they'll fall over themselves trying to support that particular policy or direction. So pseudo-Salafis today, when they claim they're following the Salaf, in essence they are not, and they are Najdis, but they're plastic Najdis because they're not even following their principles and methodology. So that's what I mean. Now, let me give you examples. Remember I said, and I presented that sort of the combination of various thumbnails about how they were, refuting each other, and not one spectrum was free. They all were like at loggerheads. One or two parties more guilty than the other, and I don't need to go who they are. You know what I'm talking about. So let's just give you some examples. Let me give you some examples to show you how, before I even arrived on the Dawah scene, what they were getting up to and what their shenanigans and antics were. So as you can see on screen, we've got Dawah refuting 10 groups in 10 minutes. Okay, Allama, Shaykh al-Islam, refuting 10 groups in 10 minutes. Then you got refutation of Hizb al-Tahrir, Abu Khadija, another refutation. Then you got refutation of Zakir Naik by Abu Khadija. So you got another refutation. Then you got Do I Support Spubs? Refutation of Abdulrahman Hassan. So you got them refuting each other. Okay, refutation of Mufti Munir's claim that the companions differ in Aqidah. Another refutation. Should I listen to Dawah Man? Abu Aisha Shamsi. There you go, another refutation. And then you got Dawah Man refuting your very own deconstructing Hajji's Khariji methodology. So you need Khariji methodology. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Khariji methodology? Now you understand what I mean when they were at each other's throats constantly. And over the years, and I've given you examples like how they were just refuting each other day in, day out.
ليس الغريب غريب الشام واليمن إن الغريب غريب اللحد والكفن إن الغريب له حق لغربته على المقيمين في الأوطان والسكن سفر بعيد وزاد لن يبلغني وقوتي ضعفت والموت يطلبني ما أحلم الله عني حيث أمهلني وقد تماديت في ذنبي ويسترني تمر ساعة